Hello and welcome to the first YouTube video from the Derbyshire Groundsmen's Association. Today we are at Mugginton Cricket Club talking to Steve Hollis about a number of common issues. But first we are going to talk to head groundsman, David Heath, to give us some background on the club.
Up at Mugginton we've got 11 strips on the square. It's about 33 metres wide, each strip's 3 metres. The first 5 on this side were laid properly when the club was formed. The others have been reclaimed over the last 20 years from the outfield as we've increased the size of the square to cope with the current usage. So as per a normal season, even though we haven't been playing in the lockdown, we've still had to prepare the strips as if we have been playing. So we've started on pitches 1 and 2. So we've prepared them, rolled them, done everything to them. They're finished now and we've just aerated them, and so they are complete for the season. We're now finished with mowing with these, so we will let them recover. When it's soft enough or we water them, we will be aerating these as we have done with 1 and 2. 5 and 6, we're in the process of preparing them as we would normally do. So this is the main problem we have on the pitches that we've reclaimed over the years from the outfield. It's meadow grass and it becomes very, very flat, very big. So we need to talk to Steve to see how is best to remove this or mitigate it growing. This is another problem we've got on these areas here, lie a bit lower, is because it was a very, very wet winter, we've got some moss issues. We've treated it as we would normally do, but because of the density of the moss, it still is within the pitch. So we need some guidance on perhaps the best way of getting this out. As you can see, we've got some old kit, shall we say, from a mower's point of view. We've begged, stealed and borrowed over the years. As a small village club, we haven't had the luxury of having brand new kit. But what I would like some help on is how do we set the level to mow the square. At the moment it's really by eye. We look at what's reasonable, does it do a good job, and that's it. But is there a setting that we need to have it from a height point of view for the rest of the square, for the strip? We need some guidance on that.
Okay, basically I've come today to have a look at Mugginton. Great enthusiasm here on the square. And over the last few weeks we've been talking about trying to work across the square in unprecedented times. It's really unusual. I've been a groundsman 35 years, I've never experienced this. So what we're trying to get groundsmen to understand is, even though we're not playing cricket, we still need to use our square as possible. I know we can only practice at the moment, but basically we're talking about, you know, working across the square. I'm sure there's going to be many chairmen and treasurers at the end of this season say, I'm sorry guys, you can't renovate the square, we've not got enough cash. Basically what you guys are doing here is absolutely perfect. You know, you're working across the square, you're scarifying. I don't know if you've verticalled it yet, but the way you've scarified, even with a machine. Okay, even a piece of equipment like this is crucial to a cricket club. When I was working at Derbyshire County Cricket Club, the head groundsman there, Neil Godrich, he used something similar to this. It wasn't actually as small, a bit bigger, but it was the same sort of thing. We're actually going to get some rubbish out of the pitches. And the idea of scarifying is to try and get down to the base of the pitch, so that we try and get, if there are meadow grasses in there, we're going to try and get them up so that we can cut them out. Okay, so the basic thing is, you know, vertical, yes, scarify. Okay, the second half of the square, from what I've been told and what my observations are, we've got quite a lot of meadow grass here. It's not a loamed pitch, it's probably a pitch full of topsoil, indigenous soils, etc. So if this club was really wanting to move on, I would probably recommend that they start putting some new pitches in. Lay one, miss one, lay one, miss one, and then obviously we'd be taking cores, etc. to see what was underneath. Okay, so we've got a little area, small areas of moss on the square. There again, moss you know, we have warm winters, we have rain, we have water lying, okay. The idea of this is to work on getting into the square, you know, spiking at the right time, probably, ideally, September, October, if the ground is suitable. And I mean by that, you might have to water the square so the spiker goes in, and then you might have to probably do 2 more, probably in November or early January, so that everything's going through the square, so the water's actually going in and not lying on the top. Okay, there is other ways of doing it. You can put iron on the square, but to be fair, you'll be far better off trying to aerate the square so the square can actually breathe. The breathing time is from the end of September until March, really, when you start your cross rolling for the new season. So the idea is we're trying to let everything breathe so that water can actually, the goodness of the rain can go into the square and not lie on the square. You know, I would water one day, roll the next. Sometimes now you can water in the morning and probably roll in the evening.
Yeah, because it's
30 degrees is not normal for English cricket conditions. It's something that's we have to know how to and when to roll. So if I was to water this square, say I flooded it for 2 hours, I'd probably stay on site and say, well, hang on a minute, can I just get that in there a bit more?
Yeah.
Certainly more there, look.
Yeah.
But you know, probably just a little bit more than that. I can just put my thumb in there slightly, because you've got to roll, you know, to get a face. I used to work with a guy called Walter Goodyear. He used to say, get a face on the pitch, and it was a sheen.
Okay.
You know, and that first roll, he used to think was very, very important. Okay, what we're going to try and do now is just show people how important to tape measure and a measuring bar is for the height and cut of your square. Okay, the height of the cut is always determined by your levelling bar, your measuring bar, okay, with a screw and a wing nut either side. That little tip of the screw goes onto your bottom blade, and these go onto the back roller and the front roller. So whatever cut and size you want, at the minute that's quite extreme, that's 20 mil, okay, so that would cut your square at 20 mil. Obviously at the minute, looking at the square, it looks to be about between 8 and 10, which is okay. Probably 12 mil is ideal in these conditions, not to get the grass too short, okay. But this really, when we talk about groundsmen preparing pitches, you may want to start at when you're preparing a pitch at 12 mil, then down to 10, then down to 8, and then probably down to between 5 and 7 for playing conditions, okay. A lot of groundsmen, they may have 2 mowers, which is ideal, one for cutting the square, one for cutting your pitches. But basically you want to bring your grass down slowly, okay, so that our rolling process may start at 10 mil, 12 mil, and then work yourself down. So every time you cut, you probably scarify before. I know a lot of clubs won't do that, but in an ideal world, to get good results, that would be the way to do it. Bring your grass down gently, and then probably on the last couple of days, you know, on match conditions, you may want to go down to 4 mil. Okay, so you've got your front roller and your back roller, you've got your straight bar, and then this is your measure. You know, that little screw head there goes on the bottom plate, the bottom plate, and there. Well, I would definitely fertilise evenly, small doses at a time, not massive fertilising. I would say probably 3 times a year. So April, June, July, and then probably August. Okay, obviously when you've done your scarification, just say for example this year you got Matt Faulkner to scarify it, deep scarify it, you'll need your seed. You probably need 2 bags for a square this size, and then you'd also need your loam. And in an ideal world, Mr. Treasurer, in an ideal world, probably 10 bags of pitch. Okay, so you lay it out with the mechanical spreader that Matt's got, or you could actually do it yourselves. Okay, I'm talking extremes, 10 pitches, depending how deep your footholes are, but ideally 10 bags of pitch, it doesn't go that far, trust me, it really doesn't. But that would be in an ideal world. Some grounds, they just have the ends done, you know, in extreme conditions. But ideally, from a groundsman's point of view, I would advise you to either A, do what you've done, or B, and B is the one really to have a full renovation. Okay, just been asked a question if we don't play any cricket whatsoever. Okay, in an ideal world, like I've said, 10 bags per pitch, but realistically, you probably wouldn't need that much loan at all. You could half it or even less than half, and just go over some of the undulations that you may have from your footholes in the previous years.